think it is a revolution. I mean, if a revolution is a transformation of what you had before, it's a transformation in communications, right, and economic activity afterwards. I think it's dramatic.
We have identified three inflows that contribute to our system stock of the development of agribusiness. They are foreign investment, education and infrastructure, followed by technological advancement, particularly in the use of cellular phones. Our first inflow, foreign investment, in Kenya has recently soared. FDI in African economies will reach a record $80 billion in 2014, with the US and the UK and France combined holding the biggest share of African investments in 2012, totaling to $178.2 billion. The BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are also contributing, collectively holding investments valued at $67.7 billion, of which $27.7 billion were Chinese. This boost in foreign attention can be attributed to many factors, including a perception of great potential and large margins for return.
However, the domestic participants cannot be ignored. African investors also continue to boost their presence on the continent, representing 18% of total investment in new projects, also called greenfield projects, in 2012. Unlike their foreign counterparts, who directed most of their attention to the mining sector, investors from the continent preferred financial services, construction, and communication projects. Foreign direct investors have shifted their focus from the traditional route of investing into the extraction of minerals in the pursuit of large payouts to seeing the potential to develop the agriculture and service sectors through investment into communication technology. Kenya and Ghana are ranked in the top 4 destinations for foreign direct investment in 2013, after previously being ranked in the bottom 10. In fact, Kenya alone increased FDI by 40% from 2007 to 2013. We can see that Nairobi, the Kenyan capital city, is considered one of the top cities for multinational corporations to base their African divisions out of, thanks to their favorable business environment and Nairobi's enormous port.
Our next inflow is education and infrastructure. Youth unemployment is an issue that rattles at the seams of many African countries. Though data unavailability and informal economic activity makes estimates difficult, youth unemployment rates in sub-Saharan Africa are believed to hover around 30 to 50%, with Kenya right in the middle with about 40%. However, companies and entrepreneurs have the power to bring long-lasting solutions. There is a severe lack of training programs for high-paying jobs. Thus, employees cannot perform tasks properly, and companies lose an opportunity to gain a comparative advantage over firms with more expensive workforces. Firms with integrated training programs perform very well in underserved markets with subpar products. Many emerging markets in Africa fall into this not good enough category. In such an environment, companies should see training as a long-term R&D investment rather than an annoying expense. However, things are improving. Many countries are shifting their training programs from a training light to a training heavy approach. Also, things are better at the source, education. According to the McKinsey Global Institute, the consulting firm's research unit, in 2002, only 32% of Africans had secondary or tertiary education. But by 2020, that number will rise to 48%. With a more educated labor force and better training programs, countries like Kenya will continue their upward trajectory to economic success.
Our final and most important inflow is technological advancement. Contrary to popular belief, mobile phones and comparable technologies are becoming increasingly common, especially among commodity distributors and large-scale producers. For every 100 people in Kenya, there are 71.9 mobile phone users and 32.1 internet users, showing an increase in availability of critical technologies. Kenya is seeing a rapid rise in the number of mobile phone apps built by local designers that are made specifically for farmers and their distributors, which help everyone maximize profit potential. There are two main issues that limit those in the agriculture business. Firstly, they do not always know the up-to-date market price for a particular crop, and this is very important to know up-to-the-minute price for agricultural products, as their performances greatly relies on global events that can only be accessed through the internet. This can help prevent unfair sales through the middlemen who take advantage of unresourceful farmers. The second issue is weather and environmental issues. This is very important for herders in particular, as they depend on the environment to ensure their animals are both safe and of high quality. In addition, it is important for them to know that their animals will have their own area to graze in. Mobile phones allow communication between herders, to check for both environmental conditions and to know if land is available for use.
Mobile banking is the latest trend in Africa. People use an app called M-Pesa. It's available on mobile phones and can be used to send money, recharge prepaid accounts, withdraw cash, and pay postpaid bills. The app makes money more accessible to all Kenyans. Besides M-Pesa, many more apps are being used to improve quality of life. However, the investors' eye are not just on basic mobile technology. Last February, Microsoft, which has offices in 14 African countries, unveiled a smartphone to be sold in several African markets. This will benefit a large portion of the population because a rise of inexpensive smartphones will allow vast portions of the population, both urban and rural, access to mobile broadband. In Kenya, Microsoft intends to bring broadband to places that do not yet have electricity using solar power and white spaces or spare broadcast television frequencies. There is a lot of optimism surrounding these technologies, including the Ministry of Information and Communications, who says he wants to see a rise in its share of Kenyan GDP from 5% now to 35% within a very short period.
Our group has identified 3 outflows from our stock of the development of agribusiness. First is exports. Kenya's major exports include tea, cut flowers, coffee, and legumes, which account for 44% of the country's exports. Technology has always played a major role in the trade of and the production of goods. With the use of cell phones and mobile banking, the Kenyan farmer has the ability to transfer money quickly and more efficiently. Improved efficiency due to technological advancement generally leads to a cheaper production cost, which allow for a greater supply to be produced. With a greater supply, the country has the ability to export more as demand increases with population growth. Our second outflow is a higher quality of life for Kenyan citizens. Finally, there will be an overall improved quality of life for natives. As we have examined, having cell phones play a crucial role in the agriculture sector of Kenya's economy by increasing production and helping farmers obtain access to information that they did not previously have. This change in quality of life is related to the increase of the unemployment rate. Because cell phones are helping the farming industry expand, more labor is requested. The people that were once unemployed line up to take these jobs, thus creating a decrease in the overall unemployment rate. More employment and higher wages will allow natives to spend more money on food, clothes, and supplies necessary for their personal development. In doing so, the money will be put back into the economy, increasing the overall standard of living for the people of Kenya. In addition, the small business aspect is important. Mobile phones have also done a lot to help farmers with making predictions that will help them when it comes to making harvesting and planting decisions. Also, an increase in interconnectedness of farmers can increase cooperation and boost production. The prospect of improving economic conditions in Kenya will only bring more foreign investment into the country to develop agribusiness because the country is seen as a safe investment. The modernizing perception of Kenya will benefit business conditions and provide more opportunities for its people in the long run.
Our reinforcing feedback loop is reinvestment to social welfare. In order to ensure that our stock for the development of agriculture business in Kenya keeps growing, it is vital for the government to reinvest revenue into social welfare programs. Reinvestment from the public sector will give Kenya a competitive advantage in exporting agriculture through educating its workforce, building better logistical infrastructure, and obtaining better technology. Kenya spends 6.7% of its GDP on education in comparison to the United States, which spends 5.4% of GDP, which shows a growing realization that educated in the workforce is crucial. Having a more educated population within the country will allow for Kenya to use domestic companies with comparative capabilities as the US, European, and Asian firms, as well as boost innovation locally. As the use of technology becomes more widespread, communication, live data analysis, and logistical information will become more accessible and improve business conditions within the agricultural sector. Ambitious public investment programs will see a significant increase in public wages and will improve the living conditions for many citizens. However, there is a serious concern that is slipping commodity prices that may drive the government into long-term deficit.
A balancing feedback loop that Kenya may experience is if resources are taken out of the country. Kenya serves as the East African business hub for many international companies including General Motors, Procter & Gamble, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, and Citibank. These multinational corporations transfer their earnings overseas. The majority of Kenyan citizens will not see economic benefits from foreign companies who take over domestic markets and drive out competitors, only to take their profits elsewhere. Multinational corporations often promise to better the lives of locals, but instead may leave the common people worse off. Kenya is a very corrupt country. If corrupt officials continue to rule the business landscape in Kenya, profits will go to the pockets of a few individuals instead of investment into the social welfare that the country and its people need in order to continue to attract foreign investment to build up agribusiness.
It's a fact that Kenya is, right, opening the door for the rest of Africa because it's so far in the lead. So many other factors are important. Some countries are making progress, right? And I think that this would probably be an additional asset, right? But I think it's one change in the middle of dozens of changes that need to happen.
Okay.